fellow YouTubers and reef enthusiasts. I'm bringing you a review of the Jebao, I believe that's how you say it, WP-10 wave maker. These came out pretty recently. I think if you're looking at this video, you know that they're 25 and 40 have been out for a little while, and the WP-10 came out quite recently. Not many videos online showing exactly how well these things work, especially in a tank like this, which is a Oceanic Biocube 29 gallon. I researched this a lot online before I bought it because I wasn't sure if it would be strong enough in this tank compared to the 25, and a lot of people were buying the 25s and putting like light dimmers in them to try to tone them down a bit. They're quite a bit bigger than the WP-10, but I just wanted, for the extra $10, I thought, well, should I get the 25 just to make sure that I have something that has enough power, or what? I ended up going with the WP-10 because I read a couple reviews and it sounded like they were doing pretty good, and I am glad I did. This thing is tiny. It takes up very little space in the tank. Very little space. It was a lot smaller than I thought it would be. I knew they were small. I didn't think they were going to be that small. The magnet on the side is nice. It's big. It's strong. It's fully adjustable. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. The controller, which I have right here, I don't have it really stuck on my cabinet yet, but the controller, it's a little flimsy plastic, but pretty well built, I think, for how much these things cost. I have zero complaints. As long as it works, that's all I care about. They have a nice screw-on cord, which is nice, maybe a little overkill, but you never know when you might need it like that. It stops water. They have like a little O-ring in there, so it stops water if water gets on it and such, so I guess it's safe and strong. Just one quick note, when you buy these, I bought mine on eBay. You can also buy them, I think, from like a fishstreet.com or something like that if you're in the States. But I got mine on eBay, and when you look at the ads, it says the controller comes with yada 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 and a light sensor. The WP-10s come with a slightly smaller controller and no light sensor. I read about that online, so I wasn't expecting one, but now I can confirm, if you haven't seen that, they don't come with light sensors. It's kind of disappointing, except that I have LED lights, and apparently you can't use those light sensors with LEDs or HIDs, anything high intensity, because it damages the light sensor. So, but if that's something you must have, just something to be aware of. It's got a bunch of different settings. I think the H settings are for like a continuous flow. The W settings are for wave. Else is basically a mixture of everything. You got 10-minute feed mode, so if you hold the mode button for like something like 3 seconds, also the 10-minute will light up and it'll be off for 10 minutes and then turn back on automatically. Then you have your speeds. S1 is the fastest, S2 is medium, S3 is slowest. The dial, when you are in W1, the dial basically gives you the ability to, or I think in any of the W modes, the dial basically determines the frequency of the pulses. So if the dial's all the way over here, if I turn it all the way clockwise so the arrow's on this side, the pulses it'll be a longer gap in the pulse. So it'll be on, off, on, off. When you have it all the way over here, it's fast. It's like, it's quick, on, off, on, off. So like I can give you a quick demo of what it will look like when you turn the dial all the way to the left. Like right now, I've got an awesome wave going. This thing is just rocking. It's actually pretty impressive how well this thing makes a wave. And the wave right now, I found the sweet spot for where it just gets that sweet kind of bowing look, right? Where you can just see it flex. The top of the water is just kind of pulsing up and down, and it is right to the edge. Right to the edge. And it's just going over the overflow vents there. And this is on the slowest speed. And you'll see if I change this thing all the way so the pulse is faster, you can see the wave change drastically. So it's kind of more, you see it kind of do that good like up down motion, and then it kind of stops and it kind of comes back. And if I go all the way to the right, the wave pretty much just disappears. So it really depends on where you find that sweet spot. So once you get that sweet spot, it really just, like right there, I just put it right back, and you'll see it just, the wave just start to come back, and the next thing you know, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. At first when I put this thing on, I thought, oh, the wave on this thing really sucks. It doesn't really get that wave action I was hoping, and I wasn't paying attention while I was messing around with the controller. I had it on the fastest speed, and I just accidentally got it to that sweet spot, and wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden I heard slosh, and I looked up, and this thing was just, the wave was huge, and it was like going over the edge of the tank. So I had to quickly turn the speed down, and before it really started dumping water on my floor. So just to give you an example, like I said, this is on the slowest speed, and I'll put it on the fastest speed, and it takes a second for it to really get the wave motion going. And also on the fastest speed, I'd probably have to adjust the pulse frequency a little bit to get it really going good, but you can see it's starting to go, and if I adjust it a bit more, it will start going over the side. So that's why I put it on the like, that's just going like crazy, and I just put that's on the medium speed, so you can see why I have it on the slow speed. So on the slowest speed with the pump near the top, it really starts to get that surface, at least the surface of the water, really going. I think I'm gonna try moving the pump a little bit lower in the tank to try to get the wave action maybe a little bit lower in the tank. Then again, in nature, I guess you could say the waves are only really at the top surface, but you know, it's kind of what we're trying to get, is that pulsing of all your corals and everything. So, but you can see on the slowest speed, everything is pulsing pretty nicely. These are some small toadstools. You can see the finger leather up there, even, you know, little rose bubble anemone, and everything's pulsing back and forth. So even this big brain coral on the bottom, you can see he's pulsing back and forth pretty good. I might, like I said, I might try to move it lower in the tank, see if I can get it to get the pulsing kind of situation a bit lower in the tank and get everything moving a little bit better, get some agitation on the sand so that it lifts, you know, all the stuff off the sand and gets it back in the water stream. And that was one of the big things I've been trying to do, is get the stuff off the rocks, get everything to stay suspended in the water so it can go through the filtration. And everything I've read, Wavemaker's supposed to really help with that. And right when I turned this thing on, the amount of junk that just kind of picked up was pretty crazy. So, but yeah, so this is just, so if you're looking at these, if you're looking at a WP-10, now you know, in a 29-gallon BioCube, which I'm sure thousands of people have, these things are crazy. For the $70, you cannot go wrong. I think I paid $70 shipped from China. You know, that's a fraction of the cost of an MP10. And with a lot of the same controllability and everything, so yeah, you really just, it's unbeatable. Totally worth it. Great upgrade. Already the fish are liking it. The corals, everything just started to open up more and puff up a little bit more, and everything just seems to be loving it. And little clownfish here was just going nuts, swimming around in the current, and he was loving it right off the bat. So yeah, it's definitely a good upgrade. Definitely worth the $70. And yeah, go get one for sure, hands down. WP-25 would be way too big in one of these. The WP-10 is perfect. You do not need more wave than that. And again, that's the slowest speed. So even if you're a little concerned if that's not big enough weight for you, you know these things have a lot of potential, a lot of stored power. So yeah, go get one.